What's going on, guys? It's Isaac. Today we're not working on the Biscayne, but I will let you hear it run. It's been a while since I've had it running, and I figured y'all like to see it run. I would go ahead and take this thing to the drag strip, but all the drag strips are closed for the year. Oh no, sorry, it's January 1st right now. So I haven't been able to take it to the track to see what it'll run, because I want to get a pre-turbo time on it. So I can't do anything with it right now. But it does run, guys. So loud it knocked the camera off. It runs fantastic. Just got to get that choke hooked up. So, the Biscayne is running, ready for a drag strip run. I just have to wait for the drag strip to open, and then I'm gonna hook that turbo up, which is gonna require manifolds, which I don't have. I've got to order them. Well, they're not in stock right now. Although I should probably go ahead and check today and see if they're in stock. So anyhow, there's the Biscayne. Today we are working on the 5.0 Mustang 1990 model. So I'm gonna figure out which injectors are bad, and I'm gonna replace them. Let me go ahead and turn this thing off. Sounds like a pissed off bumblebee. All right, so today I'm going to be figuring out which injectors are bad and go ahead and replace them. Now, I went ahead and I checked on new injectors, and I'm looking at $400 for a set, and I'm just not willing to go $400 right now at this second. And another thing, it'd be a few days before it'd get here, and I got to get back to John's. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to test those injectors. And I've got like 2 other sets off of other engines, and I'm going to test those and take the best of those and put them in this car, and maybe we'll have a good runner at that point. So let's go ahead and pop the hood, take the intake off, pull the injectors out, and figure out which ones are the worst out of them all. So I got the injectors up. The only thing I'm worried about is the fuel pressure possibly shooting out the injectors, but I have disabled the ignition system, so I'm not going to worry about any kind of fire. So I'm going to turn on the ignition. I've got my little button here for cranking the car over, and I'm going to check out. I'm going to look at every single injector and look at the pattern, if it even has one. What you want is a cone pattern spraying out of the injector. That's what you want. If it's just a stream or of course nothing at all, you got a faulty injector. Oh yeah, another thing. If you turn on the fuel pressure key, cranking it up, and it just spurts, you got an open injector, and that's bad too. So let's turn on the key. Well, fuel pressure's on. I heard the fuel pump, and I think I heard something squirt. Oh, I've got fuel. Oh, it blew out an injector. That's what I was afraid of. So I'm gonna have to use some zip ties and zip tie these injectors in place so they'll hold. So give me a second, guys. All right, I got the injectors in. Let's see if we blow out another one. All right, it didn't sound like it. All right, do we have anything dripping? Doesn't look like it. All right, so if I'm not mistaken, it's this front injector right here and these two right here that are giving me the problems. So I'm going to spin this thing over and I'm going to check for a good pattern. All right, let's check these injectors out. Cover. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, we're disabled. We're good. Here we go. Alright, we got a dribbling injector on this front one, and it looks like it is just flowing fuel, so we got a bad injector here. Okay, so we're going to just figure out which injectors are good that I have and go from there. I don't know if you can see that injector, but here's the flow you want to see. That nice little fine mist, not this other stuff I'm seeing. Yeah. Okay, so these old Ford injectors running about 40 psi. I don't have a fuel pump that strong, so I've got a low pressure pump, and I'm just going to look and see how much volume I get, or maybe there's going to be a pattern on this. So I'm going to just test it with a low pressure pump and pick the best injectors out of the bunch and then install them in the car. Got my pump and injector here. Alright, so this is going to be power. Dangerous. Alright, I'm going to take this fuel injector off to try to see if we can. There we go. Alright, since I've got it somewhat primed, Alright, it is definitely primed now. Let's see if we can get a pattern without catching anything on fire. Alright, so it seems to squirt pretty good. I don't see any leaks. So let's try the next injector. Alright. It's got a pretty decent pattern. Well, when I say pattern, it seems to have good volume. It's not a pattern thing with this low pressure pump. So I'm just looking for a stuck injector at this point and not a good pattern. So I only had 3 injectors that I know of that was bad. So I've got 4 here that I picked out, the best out of the 5 that I had, and I'm going to install them on all 4 cylinders front bank of the engine. So cylinders 1, 2, and 5, 6. Yes. So I'm replacing the injectors on all those. I'm going to crank it over and recheck it. So I've got the other injectors installed. Let's see what we got. Here we go. Okay. All right, things are looking better. So, just gonna gamble here. Gonna install the injectors again, the intake, and hopefully better running. Hopefully. So the intake is reinstalled. Fingers crossed, guys. Let's see what happens. Key in the ignition. Cycling the pump. Cranking. Oh, it ain't gonna run without hooking up the coil here. I feel silly. All right, let's try it again. Sounds a little bit better. Let's check for leaks. So far, so good. Seems like it's still got a little bit of a miss. Let's rev it up a little bit, see if it clears up. Definitely better. But I swear I still feel a little something. Let's see where the misfire is at now. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to check the temperature of the headers and just see if there's any difference. Since I'm not having any, I mean, I can tell there's, okay, the ignition thing isn't working as good as I was hoping to. It seems like there's enough of a cam in this thing. When I start unplugging the plug wires, I don't know, it's just not enough of a difference. So I've got a mini temp here. It's a laser temperature reader, and I'm going to read the header tubes and see what temperatures I have. So, this front 600 and, well, right at 614 degrees. This next one, 650 degrees. This next one, 430 degrees. That's a problem. The back one, like 550 degrees. So a little bit of a problem there. Check the other side. Front one, like 600 degrees. This next one, 644 degrees. The third one, 617. All right, 612 degrees. sure what it is yet, but the cylinder, 6, 7. All right, so cylinder number 7 has an issue. It's I mean, it's still hot. You know what? I probably got a bad injector on that rear. Oh, that means I got to pull the intake bag off. You know what? I think I'm going to drive this thing the way it is. Run some fuel injection cleaner through it and see if it clears up. Otherwise, it'll be pull the intake off, maybe replace all the injectors. But I'm hoping I'll be able to clean it. So anyhow, now I got to get the title changed and start driving this on the road.